Well, hey, everybody. I was just sitting here configuring a couple things in my array of systems, and I think I finally have everything working the way I want. Knock on wood. Last show went great last week. So far, everything seems to be working fine for today, although I've only been here for less than a minute. But the setup process is so much easier not going through StreamYard. Uh, Setting up the stream is so much more easier now that I'm not using StreamYard. It took out like 3 or 4 steps that I would normally do. So I just wanted to share that. So I'm going direct to YouTube now. So everything, the picture quality should be better, all that jazz. So just wanted to point that out because I was amazed by it and it seems to be working great. I see everybody's been in chat talking and saying hello to everyone. That seems to be everybody's consensus. The welcome signs going up. That's awesome. That's working. The participant list, I've got it on screen now. So it's kind of, it's filling up over there, which is great. All right. If you guys don't know, my name is Rick Bailey, and this is the Foltz Bailey Model Railroad. And it is Friday night, and it is 8 o'clock, and we are going to hang out for a bit and work on this project that we've got going. I do want to apologize. Last week and the week before has really been kind of hectic for me, and I never got a chance to do any additional work on the building or even cut a video for anything. So it's been busy. It's the end of the year. The kids are getting ready for summer. School is ending. So there's a lot of stuff to do with the kids. And, of course they are in baseball, now. So the baseball practices are at night and the games are on the weekends. So I've just been super busy and, didn't get a chance to do it, which is okay because that just means I got a lot more time to spend with you guys here. So I'm trying the phone on the arm again tonight to see how that works out. So far, the tests that I've done earlier this evening, everything has been working great and it looks awesome. So we're going to continue with that. What are we going to do tonight? Well, I never did get a chance to do anything with the roof pieces, the corrugated pieces that we built last week. So I'll hold that off. There's no rush to get them just glued onto the roof. So we can move on and I'll do that separately some other day. But we do have some pieces. There is a dock that needs to get assembled and glued on. There is a, what do they call that thing? There's a hoist that needs to get built on the roof. And then there's like a little crane dolly system kind of thing that also needs to get built. I was doing some painting before the show started, so I did get some of that out of the way, and I'll show you all that as we go along. But before we get into all that, I know that you've been waiting around for a lot of you've been lurking around before the show, so I know you're not here to see me. So let's go and bring up the girl of the hour, ladies and gentlemen. Here comes Rita. All right. Let's jump over to this schedule and we'll see what the STS schedule looks like. Good. I got this. I didn't even check before the show, so I'm glad I still got the May schedule up there, which is awesome. So tonight is the 29th. It's a Friday night. It's my bi-weekly. How do you say it? Bi-monthly Friday night show. So you're in luck. I've got you guys tonight, and then this Sunday I've got you guys again. So tune in on the 31st on Sunday night, and I've got Sidetrack Sunday this month, so or this weekend. So I hope to see you guys there. I didn't get a chance, so I'm not sure if I even saw that there's a new schedule for June yet. I'll have to look into that, but I'll definitely try and have that for you. If not tomorrow, hopefully in 2 weeks. Do we have John? Do we have a new June schedule? Did I just miss it? We're missing something on the schedule. Is that why it wasn't published? Or am I just being lazy and not paying attention to our chats is where you normally post them? Either way, this Sunday we know for sure is right here on my channel. So tune in then and we'll have everything fixed. Hopefully by then. No promises. I don't want to put any pressure on John. But yeah, that's that. Let's jump over to the participants list and we'll see exactly who is here. Now, remember, this list is generated by YouTube. So if you don't see your name on here, it's either because you haven't said anything or maybe you haven't just said anything in a while. So definitely jump in the chat, say hi, let people know that you're here. And this way we can all say hello to you and you get your name up on the board here. So I am going to, nope, I didn't get the schedule. Okay, so that's fine. Whenever John gets around to it, we'll get it. No biggie, no biggie. Glad I could remind you though. I again, no pressure, no pressure. So at the top of the list here, we've got Almar. Al's in the house. Welcome in, buddy. Chessie Systems and Clippy Fan is here. Mike from Deep Run Railroad is in the house. Dan from Dan's Modeling Railroad Journey is also here. James from Dundas Junction is here. Of course, I'm here. Grandpa Rails is in the house. Welcome in, Grandpa. Joe Rader is also here. Dwight from Curly Express is in the house. Lynn McCurdy is also here. Bob from over at PK&W Model Works is here. Ron Moen is in the house, and there's his cousin or brother, or the second Ron of the night is Ron Montag is here. Welcome in, welcome in. And this week, bringing up the rear of the list here is John J2 from the Schuykill River Valley. Thank you for stopping in. If you notice, guys, there's a couple of people over there that have their names in blue. Those are my moderators. They're here for two reasons. They're here to keep me on track, which almost never happens. But they're also here to keep you guys in line. So if anything happens or you guys get, overly excited or what's that word I'm looking for? Ruly? Blame it on them because they're the ones that are going to kick you out. I just saw BHS Railroad just jumped in. Welcome, welcome. I think that's it for the list. There were a couple people that I saw. I don't know if chat's going to let me go back that far. No, at this point, it only goes up to 8 o'clock. I did see early on, Jerry was here. I'm not sure if he's still here or lurking, but hello, Jerry. I did see that you were in the house earlier. Let's go jump over to the side camera over here. So here's what we've got going on. I don't know how that well this is going to show up because of the green screen. Okay, so it's darker for you. It almost looks like a gray building, but I promise you it's not. You guys know how green this is. So we've got a dock that needs to go in here. That is going to serve the door there and the door up here. There's also a hoist that needs to be built and put in up here. There's also a space right here where the name of the building would go. I haven't figured out if I want to give it the name that Foscale Models it gave the name of the kit, which is the Cookson Soap Company. Or if I want to change it to something different. Again, they've got a flat sign that just goes across the building. I may want to build something that protrudes out of the building. I'm not sure if I'm going to rename this to something else or use this as one of my, you guys know how I like to honor people and make some sort of a craft building for them. So I haven't decided on that yet. I don't have anybody in mind. So I'm not sure exactly what I want to do with that. Stormy Sky Rail Productions, welcome. Steve, how's it going? I did find one thing out earlier that I got to figure out how to fix. I think I know how to fix it, but I got to figure it out. So I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this, but when I put the building together, honestly, to tell you the truth, the only thing that I could think of that went wrong, and I noticed it. Okay, so if you remember from the video that I put out 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, maybe, where it showed that this was kind of crooked, I think I know what happened. I believe this whole background section here is crooked, and it's not noticeable. Where it is noticeable was in that section where I had to cover it up, and also down here at the bottom. And I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this, but you notice that's bumped out at the bottom. See how that's protruding? So this doesn't sit completely flat. As a matter of fact, if I take a ruler, I'm going to see if I can do this so you guys can see. So if I hold that flat, you'll notice there's a slight space in the top here, right up there. If I put my finger behind it, see how you can see my finger? So like I said, the only way that I think that could have happened, because this is slotted in right here. So there's no way that I could have glued it on wrong. It's also slotted in here, which there's no way that I could have glued that wrong. So what I'm thinking is this part here, flip hands, this part here should have moved up a little bit, but I'm not sure how much I could have moved that up, because then you would see in from the roof. So I don't know. Maybe it's just something wrong with the wood. I really can't tell. But what I'm going to have to do is get a large piece of sandpaper and just rough this up on the sandpaper. Hey, Rusty from Possum Bayou's in the house. Welcome. Anyway, that's the building. That's where we are. Let's jump down here to what I'm now calling the droid cam. So this is where we are. There's a bunch of people who are chatting. Let me just scroll up here and chat, because I think I've missed a lot. I'm bad with names. Who's the guy with the pointy beard on the screen? Oh, okay. So the pointy guy with the beard on the screen, his name is Rick. I'm Rick Bailey, and this is the Foltz Bailey Model Railroad. Now, I'm also bad with names, and I can't remember people unless I get to put a face to them, and I can't honestly say that I know your name. So tell us your name so that I can hopefully put it in memory, because my memory's not that good, and I'm not that old. No unboxing tonight. Sorry, Lynn. Not this time. Pass building inspection. Good job. Nice. Some people still saying hello. Wow, Stormy said hello to everybody. J2 and I want his head of hair. I'll tell you what, you guys are gonna hate me for this, but you know how I do. I will get my hair to this point normally, and then right around this time, last time I cut my hair. All right, I have not been to a barber since I was about maybe 16 or 17. I realized very quickly at that age that I was just wasting money on a barber when I can just shave it off and start over. I usually do a crew cut in the summertime. I always have, just because it was always hot and I hated the hair and it was always in the way. So when I got to the age of 16, I had my mom just shave my head like every 3 months. So started doing that when I got older. Eventually I did it myself, and I didn't have my mom doing it. Rick, lighting on the shot is really crisp. Oh, thank you, Bob. So last time I shaved my head, I think it was back in January. So we're going on 5, almost 6 months. And I'm noticing now when I wake up in the morning, I've got bedhead. So that's usually right around the time when the first person goes, wow, what did you do to your head there? It all gets shaved off. Ray Boebel, welcome, buddy. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate it. Scenery will take care of the gap. Yeah, that's true. And I'm not worried about that at all. I plan on adding a bunch of stuff onto it. So, happy birthday, Possum Bayou. Awesome. Happy birthday, Rusty. Nice. Cassidy Workshop is in the house. Welcome, welcome. A bunch of people still saying happy birthday. Sorry, I'm just kind of strolling through. I didn't get onto the Facebook or the world scene. There you go. Everybody's doing. My name is Lynn, and I like long walks on short piers. Yeah. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for sharing. Appreciate it. I'm scared to buzz my head. You can see all my scars. Oh man. Hey, chicks dig scars. My brothers were 70s hippies, so my dad would. Yeah. Awesome. All right. I am caught up in chat. My name is Dwight. Nice to meet you, Dwight. Happy birthday, Rusty. I'm still trying to scroll through and find no unboxing pain. Yeah, no unboxing. I very rarely do JP here. Okay, JP. I know another JP. Southern Pacific. I know a JP. I used to work with a JP very closely. Ray Boebel, you can fix. What did Ray do? Best laid plans. Have to rewire my roundhouse. Wired all 7 tracks backwards. Oh no, that kind of sucks. All right, let me jump into my project, Ray. But no, feel free to tell everybody in chat. Let the chat roll. I'll do my best to try and keep up. So this is what the dock is made up of. It's got 2 sides and a top. Now, you can't notice it, and actually, I think it looks better on camera than it does in person. In person, it's like a very dark gray color, and I think it might just be because of the lights that are shining on. That it almost appears. So this color over here, this is the original color of the I don't know what this is, cardboard MDF that came through. But what I did is I tried to create a concrete color, and I don't know if you're. Let me switch here. Side cam. I don't know if see how dark it is. And I'm not even sure if that's because of the green screen. Let's do it this way. You don't have any light over here, so you can see it's a darker color than what appears on the Droid Cam here. So I actually mixed up my colors. I went and I put a dark black on it first, and that's not what I meant to do. I then came back with like a cream color. No, I'm sorry, I'm lying to you. I first put a cream color on there, and I realized that the cream color was almost the same color as this. So I then went over it with like a dark black, hoping I could just do like a wash over it, and the dark black just took over, turned it into a really dark gray. So then I got some a white. It's actually called an antique white, and I tried to put that on top, and that's where it got me to where I am now. And I think I'm gonna leave it there because it's not. I don't think it's too bad. Come on, focus in. There you go. I don't think it's too bad, but it's not what I was expecting. So I think what I'm gonna have to do is probably break down and go to the hobby store and try and get a concrete color. So the way this goes, let me get this out of the way. The way this goes, these 2 pieces here get joined on a 90 degree, and then this is the top part here. Careful if you use sandpaper on the bottom of the build. Don't rock it. Yeah, you'll round. Yep. I was thinking the same thing. I didn't mention it, but yeah. And I you know what? It's funny because you'll see when I sand these pieces here. I'll if anyone's unsure of what he means by that, I'll show you in a second. But I noticed that I sometimes do that on long when I have long pieces that I'm sanding. It's a pain in the butt, but it does happen. So I'm just going to try and quickly get these pieces out. There's that. I think I need a new blade. That. And here. There. And I think there's one in the middle. There we go. So those two pieces should pop out and then separate. Awesome. So real quickly, we're just going to glue. Oh, here's what I meant. So this is the sanding stick that I use. You can see it's very well worn on this side. I do not use this side. I use this side. And each time this part up here gets rounded off, all I do is spin this to get a fresh piece of sandpaper. I love these things. I have them in a bunch of different grips. I actually have a bunch of these. It came in like a 4-pack. These things are awesome. But what Cassidy Workshop was talking about is when you sand these, if you rock that way and then come back and rock that way, especially when you've got something big that you're moving over a large surface, you can wound up rounding those edges. So you've got to be careful. And what I like to do is kind of move them together almost. Wigwag, welcome in, bud. If you move them together, you can kind of keep them stable. Don't put too much pressure on it, because then that's what's going to cause you to push one way or the other. So I especially with something as easy to sand as this, it only takes a couple passes to get those things gone on this MDF. Long passes work. Just be careful. You know, I just realized it's been a while. I don't think I've... Wigwag, I don't think I've called you 3Dub in a while. Welcome in, 3Dub. All right, there's that one. Now I'm just hoping that I could tell the difference. All right, see now this one, I got to be careful with this one because I can't just sand that because I need those two end pieces. But this middle part here, I get just enough clearance to get in there, trying not to bend it. There we go. I think I got it. And the back end there. All right, I should have cut this out beforehand. I know, wasting a lot of time. Sanding stuff is like watching paint dry. Sometimes what'll happen is if you push too hard against what you're sanding, it'll get caught on that edge, and that's when you realize you start sanding that edge. So light pressure will get you right on through. There we go. All right, all done with that. So real quickly, we're just going to glue this together. This shouldn't take too long. The exciting part comes when we start doing the little crane hoist. All right, that goes in there. I'm just going to throw this around my 1, 2, 3 block. Make sure that stays at a 90. Whoa. All right, rest that there. And we'll glue that on once that is set. This we can get rid of. This we can get rid of. All right, so this is where it's going to get a little difficult. Not difficult. I think I understand it now, but I want you guys to pay attention. All right. Let me. I was very confused earlier. Let me share my screen because I got a picture of. I have a picture of. This picture comes direct from Foscale Models. This is what is on their website. What I couldn't figure out was the crane, and you really can't see it all that well. And I wasn't sure how to glue this together, but let me share. Here's the instructions. I'll show you the pieces. Okay. These are the pieces. Zoom in a little bit so you can see the pieces. All right. These are the pieces. And what it says here in the instructions. The instructions say, it's called a pulley. Find the pulley parts on sheet A. This is sheet A. Right? So, sheet A, before you remove them from the sheet, paint the parts a rust color on both sides. So I went over this with a like a dark brown color, a black wash, and then like an orange rust color. And I did I actually screwed up. I screwed up because I did these at the same time, and hey, no problem, John. Yeah, whenever you get back, I'll be here for a while. Yeah, I'm gluing my fingers together. Yeah, I always wind up doing something. So what I did was I colored these, and I did one side and then the other. And the problem that I had was after I glued the first part, or I'm sorry, after I painted the first part, I went and I flipped it over and I started painting the other part and realized that all the paint that I was putting on the first part came through on the other side, and I had to repaint the other part. So then they look slightly different. One is darker than the other, but I was using this side and I was trying to figure this out. So here's what this says. Before you remove them from the sheet, paint them a rust color. Then join A5. Now, these are A5, and these are A4, right? Now, the way they say this is join A5 with A4 twice. So that means one of these gets glued on top of one of those, and one of these gets glued on top of one of those, right? Okay, we understand that. And then it says sandwich the wheels between A4/5 and then glue it onto the hoist. Well, we didn't get to the hoist yet, but so what I gather is I'm supposed to glue these two wheels together, and then I'm supposed to glue them in between these. But what it didn't say was, once you glue this onto here, which side are you supposed to glue against the wheel? And the reason that I went back to this picture was because I couldn't get a clear picture of this to see exactly how this was put together. And then I figured out, once I was looking at this even closer, when I flipped it over and I saw those 3 tiny circles, that's when I realized that that's got to be the outside, and that must be what attaches to the top of the hoist. So that's when I figured it out. So we're going to cut this out. We're going to try and glue it together. These are really, really small compared to my fingers. So I don't know how well this is going to work, but I am going to need my little goggles here, because even though I can see them on the screen, I can't see them when I'm looking at them on the workbench. I don't even know where the joined parts are. Looks like here. Something tells me I'm going to rip something. Okay, that's one part. There's got to be another one. And of course, I painted this already, so all those little crevices are all covered in paint. Okay, I think I got that. Okay, do they pop out, or are there side pieces? Nope, there's side pieces too. Oh, looks like there's only one side piece. Okay. All right. Okay, so there's 2. Let's get these out. Oh, I realize I'm not even on camera. Why didn't somebody say something? Okay, there's 2 pieces. There's one. There's one. All right. Round ones. These round ones have just one. Are we having fun yet? There's that. All right. Now, we can put that aside because we no longer need that. Something tells me I'm might be a place to look. I lost my mouse. Where's my mouse? There we go. Got sound on my Abraham Lincoln train, but when I go forward, it goes backwards. And I switch the wires and it won't do anything. Ooh. Do you know what the CVs are set to? Over, under on Rick needing Band-Aids after cutting this out. Yeah. Either Rick has huge fingers or those parts are tiny. They are seriously tiny. Got a question. I have a pair of rail powered product -9s. I'm looking for truck assemblies. Where can I find what fits them? I'm looking for part numbers if possible. Who makes the -9? Normally, is it something older, or is it a like something newer, like a manufacturer? A lot of times, believe it or not, you can probably find them on eBay, or if you know, check like Thingiverse. You might be able to find the right part there, and then have someone print it if you don't have a 3D printer yourself, or just 3D print them if you do. But those are my 2 suggestions. Need to find a part list online. Yeah. NWSL. I don't know what NWSL is. I thought Ray was having a stroke there when he put it in the first time, but somebody else mentioned it. What is NWSL? What brand are the -9s? Yep, that's what I was asking. I've learned how to change the CVs, but I haven't figured out what number for going forward and backwards yet. I don't have a bell either. It's by RPP, which from what I can bought out by Athearn. Northwest Short Line. Okay. Thank you, Ray. Steve, Cassidy. Okay. Gemini gave me a very detailed answer to your question. You might try an AI query. All right. Okay. All right. So we're going to zoom in here. Whoa, a little too much. I don't have the zoom down yet because I'm trying to do this with my fingers. All right. We're going to go that way. So I need a little dab of glue. These parts are super small. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work on these two little guys here. Try to get in camera. I'm just going to put, what, it would be better if I brought this in. And then you guys can see what I'm doing on here. Better than on the green. All right. There we go. And this will allow me to put a little dab of glue on there. And I'm going to try it this way. And then we got to sandwich this one on top of that one. And then I'm going to need my glasses again because I got to line those holes up for the glue sticks. This reminds me of dialing a rotary phone. Okay. Place that down there. Now, these pieces I don't think have a right or left side. But remember those little holes that we saw on these? I got to figure out where those holes are. On which side? Okay, that's one side. So I'm going to guess sticky down there. This is going to go on that. that. And then let's bring this in. Sorry, really trying to concentrate on these small parts. So I'm not paying attention to chat. Hopefully you guys are just talking amongst yourselves. I can't remember if I reprogrammed it after switching the wires on the motor. I don't think switching the wires on the motor is going to do anything for DCC. I think that's going to stay the same, Dwight. I could be wrong. What you're saying makes sense if it was a DC motor, because then the polarity would switch. But there is no polarity with DCC. Okay. That's what that's supposed to look like. And now this says I have to sandwich this in between those two. Yeah, you're right, but I mean it doesn't make sense that if he switched the wires, did you switch the wires before the decoder or after the decoder? Like when you say you switch the wires, do you mean the ones coming directly off the motor or the ones coming from the pickups? But everything else will go backwards. Yeah, the decoder is going to see the change and it's going to flip it for you. Oh, back to what it was. You need to tell the decoder that you want it the other way around. Oh, here you go. Dwight, read CV29 and add 1 to the value. All right, I'm going to flip this guy over. Get a little bit more glue here. See, now this is the part that I don't understand. Because now the circle is on the inside. So if I put glue on this, I think the circle is supposed to be on the outside. No? I don't know. I'm going with it. Nobody's going to pay attention to that much of a detail anyway. Okay. All right. Now flip this. Oop. Got that right. And this. I mean, that's honestly the best that I can get it. That's supposed to be a chain hoist. Looks like I got to do a little bit more paint where I cut it. All right, let me put that down, let that dry for a few minutes. While we're doing that, wow, who did all that? Well, I did all that because that's my name. Because I can do that. I couldn't do that, what you're doing, Rick the Tree. You mean the small parts? Yeah, I can't either. But I'm trying. All right, so we'll set that aside for a minute. Here's the other part, which is really weird. This is a part of the hoist. This is the jig. I have to build the hoist inside this jig. That means taking 1/16 and putting it in there, cutting it there, cutting it there, and cutting it there. So this came with the kit. So I don't want to cut on top of my thingy here. I want to get that out of the way so I don't lose it. And we're going to move that up here to the concrete thingy. Okay, in here, let's do it this way. I'm going to flip this over because what I want to do is I want to take this and I want to put this in there. And I'm not even sure. Let's do this. Let's cut it that way. My gosh. I'm not sure what to do here, honestly. All right, I'm going to go that way. It's all behind my head. I should just take myself out of the picture at this point. Okay, right there. And now I need to cut that little angle. And I'm hoping it's just a 45-degree angle. Yeah, that's not bad. I think it's in there. No, it's not in there quite right. Let's take off a little more. I have extra. I think I took off too much. No, it fits in there. And I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think I'm using the wrong size wood here. So this is a 16th. That looks to be the same size. Where is, that's what I just had. Yeah, they're all the same size. All right. Maybe I'm not. All right, put that there. Put that back. Nice jig. Yeah, the jig came with. I was a little surprised. Why did the laser not cut it? I don't know. I don't know. It's the way it came. Bob is playing used car salesman. Yeah, try this. First one's free. He's like, Bob's Bob's like the cigarette company. What is the name? Phillips. Phillips. Yeah, yeah. Try these out. They're great. You get addicted? Nah, no worries. Buy the next one. My ice house is still not done. My ice house is still in the package. That might be the next build. We'll see. Wood's too thick? I don't know. I think the wood's too thin. But I don't know. Let's keep going and we'll see. So that's got to go there. Here's where I chop off the end of my finger. Okay. Look at that. Just about right. I think I might be a little too long, but it's okay. Now, somehow I'm supposed to get a piece in there and cut. Good luck with that. And then I got to glue all this together in a matter of 8 minutes. Need my goggles again. Oh, I hit the phone. All right, so all right, there's one end. Now I can't move that. So now I got to come in here. My finger's too fat. And do that. Oh my gosh, I think I got it. Okay, I think this is a little too long. Got to take off a smidge. Okay. I don't know how I'm supposed to glue this. All right, I'm going to go with time for the putty and glue. He refuses to put the knife down. Yeah, I know. Keep cutting and cutting. All right, I'm going to take this small piece here. A little too much glue there. Jeez. Covered the whole thing. I'm going to wind up gluing it to the jig. Nope, gluing to my finger. At least we know the glue works. Where's my tweezers? I could see I'm going to be playing with this for like the entire week. Trying to get this right. I have no idea where the glue goes on this, so I'm just going to slap the whole thing. With some glue. And the worst part is there's no way to like hold this together while it's gluing. It just has to sit in the jig. And then not move. Okay. That's the best I got. Now, just to give you a reference, this is the part that goes on the roof, like on the the slant of the roof in there. That part there goes into the roof that way. And then the little dolly thingy that we built gets put around that. Here's where I screw the whole thing up because I'm trying to do a demonstration. That gets glued around that. That's the hoist. And then there's a tiny little string that has to get looped in there. Yeah, you know, I didn't think about that. Tape on the back. Tape on the back would have probably done it well. But I think I'm going to leave it at that because I don't want to touch anything else on the workbench at this point. We do have this guy, which I just glued there. So, oh, wrong side. That gets glued onto that, and that is the top of the dock, like that. And this dock will sit right there. So we've got to get that done and paint those sides so they match and get rid of all that yucky there. We'll get that fixed up. Yeah, I got all kinds of words, but I'm going to leave it there. So for now, so what did we do? We glued we glued two side pieces together. DB Tech coming in at the last minute. Good to see you, bud. Thank you for stopping in. I appreciate it. So we created the hoist. We created the thing that sits on top of the hoist, and we created the dock. So now it's just a matter of getting the dock glued on and dressed up real nice, and getting the hoist put on top of the building, and get that nice and pretty. And then getting the two roof pieces on, which I still have to finish. I didn't think of the tape until you were working on it. That's okay. Hey, it happens. Listen, I'm here to make the mistakes so that you guys don't have to. So next time, use tape. The funny thing is, sitting right next to me over there is tape. I could have just reached over and grabbed the tape, but I didn't think about it either. Nice dock. In fairness, Rick, I didn't think. Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah. What fun would that be? I could have 3D printed that for you in a couple of minutes. Yeah, I know. Paint your edges. I will get there. Yep. The jig is what holds it all together. That's what it's there for. Yeah. So I'm not going to touch that. I'm not even going to touch the desk. Once I leave this stream, I am not touching anything. Guys, don't forget, go over to Dan's model railroad journey. I'm going to put a link to his channel in the chat so that you guys could go find his stream. He should be on live now. Make sure you guys show him some love. Go raid the channel, see what he is building. And yeah, I will catch you guys in 2 weeks. I'll try and see if I can get a video out between now and then with some of this finished project. I think getting the roof and the dock and all that put on there probably does the end of it. And then the only thing left is to name the thing and put a sign on it. So maybe when we come back in 2 weeks, maybe we'll start Bob's project, the ice house. I don't want to flood YouTube with the ice house, so I might just hang on to the ice house and bring it back later after I watch what everybody else did to it. Then I can just do it the right way. That sounds good to me. These Craftsman's kits are all about materials, Big Dave. Yeah. So we also have some little doodads, trash cans, and different 3D printed things that need to get painted and put on here too. So I'll see if I can get those done. If not, we can do those together. Either way, we're going to roll the outro here. Thank you guys so much for joining. Over there is going to be a link to one of my videos. Right below that in the corner is going to be a link to one of my playlists. And of course, right below me, that's going to be the like and subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you in a couple